Hi everyone, I'm Greg and welcome to the Laser Channel. If you're on the market looking for a laser diode machine, you know that there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of information, but all of that information is in different places. So I've gathered all of the laser diode machines that I have in the studio here, and I combined them all into this one video. Stay tuned as I share information about each one of these machines with you. Welcome back. Before I get into each of the machines, I want to let you know that I looked up all of the technical specs on each of the machines that I'll be sharing with you, and I'll be putting all of that technical jibber jabber up in this corner. So if that's important stuff for you, feel free to pause the video for however long it takes to jot that down. I'll also have all of that technical information in the video description down below. I also want to mention that this is not a sponsored video, so I'm free to say anything that I like about any of these machines. And what I'm going to do is just share my thoughts with you on all of the machines that I have presented for you today. Starting off with the Xtool D1. It's the first machine that came into this shop. I've got the most amount of time on it, and I did want to spend an extra minute about the Xtool brand name. Now, chances are if you did any research on tabletop laser diode machines, Xtool shows up, and it shows up often. That's because their marketing department and their budget is huge, and I really credit that for bringing so many people into this type of laser crafting and small business. So I just wanted to mention that and recognize Xtool for being able to connect so many people with these types of machines. Some of the things that initially drew me to the Xtool D1 machine is I purchased all of this all at the same time. So they had the laser machine that was out. They just made it light burn compatible. That was really the trigger point why I purchased this. I had my choice of the Xtool software or Lightburn, and I liked having the option to use different software packages. They also had a rotary attachment that was available at the time that was proven, it worked. It includes the standoffs. I also got the air assist kit because I researched that and found that that's really helpful when cutting. It also keeps your lenses cleaner a little bit longer. And finally, the Honeycomb. This machine, it is elegant in design and it is robust in its mechanical design. And by that I mean it utilizes these steel rails. There's one on the top and one underneath. These steel guide rails run on that, so it's metal on metal that works very well together. And this machine is super, super smooth. We'll have that same type of construction on the side here with the metal rail down here and one on the top along with the guide wheels. There's two on the bottom and one on the top behind. Here's the air assist pump. This thing is crazy, crazy quiet. One of the things I like to do when I'm working on a project is sometimes listen to background music or just the peace and solitude. And with this air pump, I don't have a loud air pump buzzing in the background. I also like turning a lot of pint glasses and wine glasses, and I found that this works very well. This attachment has a rubber coating on here that grips onto most glasses really well. And moving on to the Honeycomb, I really do like this Honeycomb. You can see a lot of the cut staining on here. This is perfectly normal and that can be washed off. The other thing that I really like about this Honeycomb is it is magnetic, and I love using strip magnets to hold my workpieces in place. Here's one of those magnetic strips. They go down and it holds down very securely. I just love using those. Xtool also has a very large presence on Facebook through the official Xtool Facebook group. I've been on there quite a bit. It's a great resource to find out about how to run the machine, run settings for projects. If you're having some difficulties with your machines, there's a lot of users that are there ready to help you out and point you in the correct direction. Now, one of the things that I ran across with Xtool is they do innovate. They do come out with a lot of really neat products. Their time cycle on that, it seems like every couple of months they have something new that's coming out, and that can sometimes leave users with buyer's remorse that they didn't wait a little bit extra time to buy something that they didn't know was coming out, and I fell into that category. No sooner did I have this machine set up for 2 months than they came out with a new rotary attachment. And that attachment had features on it that I really liked, and I wish I would have known it was coming out. I would have waited. But the one that I purchased with the machine, it does work. It meets my needs. The same can also be said about the laser module. At the time, I bought the most powerful laser machine that Xtool made, and that is with the 10-watt module here. Short time after I got this machine, they made the announcement that there was going to be a 20-watt laser module coming out. Now, they made the announcement, it was about another 2 to 3 months before you could get a pre-order, and from that pre-order it was several months out. So I think when they first announced their 20-watt module, you would have had to have waited another 6 months before they had the first production releases of those. My recommendation from you when purchasing from Xtool is be happy and be comfortable with what you were buying at that time, knowing full well that they're going to come out with more really neat things in the future, and you'll just have to decide if you're comfortable knowing that what you have right now will most likely be outdated but very usable within about 6 months. Continuing on with the next machine, I'm going to stick with the Xtool family, and I'm going to put the technical jibber jabber up there in the corner again for you. And this one is going to be the Xtool D1 Pro version. Now, I don't have this machine, but I've got a piece of tape in the front here saying that it is a D1 Pro. So this is the current available machine from Xtool. It's available in a 10-watt, 20-watt, and they are releasing a 40-watt laser module that they just announced. But going back to the 10-watt version will retail for about $700 US, and the 20-watt version will run about $1,200 US. Some of the main differences between the non-pro and this pro version of the D1 is that there are now limit switches in all 4 corners that helps prevent the machine from slamming hard into any one of the corners while running. The Pro version also offers the most current controller board for controlling the machine and accessories like a rotary attachment. The Pro version also includes a flame sensor, so if you do have your back turned on the machine for a minute and you do start a fire, the machine will stop and an alarm will sound. The Pro version, it updated important features that are very helpful for us users, but it also retained a lot of the really nice features from the non-Pro version that really drew people to it, like myself. And that's in the framework. The style of the framing on the machine, that robust, simple design, is still retained with the Pro version. Let's take a closer look at those. Again, the Pro version is going to use these same metal rails on top and on the bottom with the same wheels that ride on it, and provided that you keep these clean and lightly lubricated with that silicone grease that comes with the machine, you'll have many, many years of service from this machine. And again, this side rail here uses that same technology of the rail here on top and behind. Again, we just saw this in the non-Pro version. And overall, the machines look very similar. However, this special D1 Pro machine is the updated technology. And just like the D1 non-Pro version, the Pro version shares a lot of the same benefits from Xtool's large Facebook community, Again, it's a great resource to find out information on projects. If you're having an issue with your machine, there's a lot of positive people on there that are very willing to help you through the information that you're looking for. And lastly, it's not really a knock or a cut against Xtool, but if you bought the Xtool D1 Pro with the 20-watt version in it, I know just a couple of weeks ago, Xtool announced that they've got the world's first production-ready 40-watt laser module. So again, if you're one of the people that wants to have the most current technology for their hobby and their small business, don't worry, Xtool is going to keep you busy with new things to purchase. But again, I really like that Xtool does that because it really pushes the performance envelope that really raises the bar for the rest of the manufacturers in this genre of laser machines. This is the Comgrow Z1 machine by the company Comgrow. The machine is offered in a 5-watt laser module that retails for $259 US. The version that I have before us right now is the 10-watt laser module, and this retails for $349 US. Comgrow also has a 20-watt laser module that can be purchased separately, and that retails for $469 US. At these price points, Comgrow, in my opinion, is one of the most cost-effective machines that has a good build quality and functions. Now, I got this machine with all of these accessories, so that's one of the things that's really important to me is when I buy a base machine, what other accessories to go with that. And it's nice to know that Comgrow offers an air assist kit that is also compatible with the Xtool D1 machines, a rotary rotor unit, and the Honeycomb. And again, this Honeycomb is magnetic, and I just really love that. If you watch my project videos, you'll see that 9 times out of 10, I use magnetic strips to hold the work securely in place. The Z1 machine features an all aluminum, all metal framework, making it very sturdy and rigid. The rail system on here has these plastic wheels that ride in the channel of the extruded aluminum. There's a belt in there that connects up to the motor, and that's the mechanism for driving the laser head back and forth. Initially, when I saw this type of a system, I thought aluminum and plastic wheels, and I was a little bit apprehensive, but I found that these plastic wheels conform perfectly to the channel, and now that I've used this machine just a very short amount of time, this laser head moves around and it is silky smooth. The machine also features 2 limit switches for homing the machine. There's one on the laser head and on the frame rail down here. One of the things that I really like about setting the height on the laser module when setting the focus is the amount of distance that they allow the laser module to move up and down. This really comes into play when we start looking at the rotary attachment. The rotary attachment doesn't come with any standoffs because none are needed because of that large amount of travel that's included on the laser module. I've turned a lot of pint glasses and wine glasses, and I haven't found the need to put anything underneath the framework of the machine in order to get a proper focus when setting the laser. The optional air assist kit from Comgrow is fully compatible with the Z1 series machines and the Xtool D1 and D1 Pro. Comes with all the parts that you need to install on either machine and very well documented instructions. And the pump is very quiet. Again, I like having a quiet pump while I'm in the shop. And this pump does include a variable speed. I really like that on projects where I'm doing an engraving. I do want to have some air coming out of the nozzle so that any smoke and smoke residue is not getting up into my lenses. I can still blow that out of the way without blowing that residue onto the work area, staining my engraving. However, when I'm ready to start cutting all the way through material, I can turn this speed controller up all the way and have all the airflow that I need going down to the nozzle. Lastly is the Honeycomb. As you can see by the marking on here, I have been using this Honeycomb too. And again, this is a magnetic honeycomb. I love this stuff. I love using these magnetic strips. I'm also a part of the Comgrow Facebook group. I'm not a community contributor to that, more of just somebody that surfs around on there, looking at people's questions that they have, answering them when I can, and looking at different project ideas along with recommended machine settings for a particular project. So again, Comgrow, they do have a nice Facebook community that's a great outlet for learning and troubleshooting your machine. Out of all the machines I'm going to talk about in this video, the Comgrow series machine has some of the lowest price points out of any of them that I've seen. And again, you can do the research and verify that for yourself. But I think for the price and the performance and the available accessories for the machine, if you're on a budget, this would kind of be my recommendation. This is the Jiccoda L1 laser machine. This machine is available in a 5-watt version that retails for $369 US. The version that I have here is the 10-watt version, and this retails for $429 US. The machine is available in 2 different colors. This one being the periwinkle blue that has a hue of purple to it. There's also another version that is called dark blue, and in my opinion, it's more of a bright royal blue that is also very attractive. The Jiccoda L1 also includes a number of safety features, including an emergency push button on the top. If something isn't looking right, you can immediately hit that button and everything, including the laser, will stop. I know there's a stop button in the software, but sometimes in the frantic panic of something not looking right, it can be hard to go back to the computer, grab the mouse, find where the mouse pointer is, and click that stop button. And having the assurance that you can go up to the machine and click this button and everything is going to start getting better is a real peace of mind. The machine also has a flame sensor that, again, if it senses a fire in your work area, the machine will immediately shut down and an alarm will sound. It also has tilt alarms and jolting alarms, such as if the machine is jolted off the table, everything will stop on the machine. This machine came with all of the available accessories like the air assist kit that includes a variable speed pump, a very nice fully adjustable rotary unit, and this very large honeycomb. This has to be one of the favorite frames that I have on the laser machines. All the edges have a nice chamfered corner on it. There's really no snag points on anything, and everything is clearly marked on the front of the machine. The e-stop button is easily accessible. And when we take a closer look at the laser module, we'll see that this plastic cowling over the laser module is color matched to the base color of the machine. I did take a look at the laser module underneath this plastic cover, and I can tell you that everything is all metal on the laser module. The only plastic on this machine is just cosmetic on the outside to help the airflow from the high velocity stack fan to go all the way through all the components. And while we're in the area of the laser module, here's that cable management that I was talking about. This is the neatest, cleanest layout of cables on the machine that I've seen out of all the machines that I'll be showing you today. When I was assembling the machine, I was just amazed at the heft and how solid these side rails are. Now, there's built-in channels in here on this rail for the wheels for this gantry to ride in. And this is a very, very sturdy platform. This machine also runs very, very silky smooth. Moving on to the air assist kit pump. This is a very nice compact design. It does make a little bit of noise when it runs, but it's not very loud. And once again, when I'm doing an engraving, I like to have the airflow turned down just a little bit. That way, the air assist nozzle is blowing fresh air past the lenses on the laser modules, keeping them clean. But when I'm ready to cut, I can turn this dial up all the way and get those beautiful clean cuts that an air assist kit produces for us. This is the roller accessory. It has all the bells and whistles on it that I'm looking for in a unit like this. The rollers have a nice rubber covering on them. It's sure to grip basically any material that is placed on here. And as we can see by the track down here and on the other side, this outside roller is fully adjustable to tackle the largest of projects. Off to the side is this auxiliary wheel set for doing any tapered glassware or stemware like glasses. Like wine glasses. Now we'll see that there's a number of different holes in the base of this, and those match up to a lot of the pegs that are on the bottom here. When these two get matched up, those pegs from the unit match up to the holes, of course. That means that this will not shift or turn around, so that when I have those matched up in the holes, I know that I'm perfectly in line and squared up exactly where this auxiliary wheel set should be. The last accessory is this huge piece of honeycomb. Now, I have used this a little bit. We can see some of that project staining on here. However, unlike the other honeycomb that is magnetic, this is all aluminum, and this magnetic strip does not stick, so I needed to cut some T-pins to stick in here. It works just perfectly, or alternatively, I like to use blue painter's tape to secure my work down to the honeycomb. This honeycomb, it really is huge. It's coming in at a usable work area of 460 millimeters by 460 millimeters, making it the largest honeycomb that I have in the studio. From the sleek design of the machine to the available accessories that are very flexible and very compatible with most major brands on the market, I'm very pleased with the performance from this Jiccoda L1 machine. However, one area that I feel is lacking just a little bit is I wish there was some Facebook groups or support groups, something that I could turn to for peer support from other Jiccoda users. Now, I've looked for this several times and I haven't been able to find any groups. If you're watching this video and you know of any Facebook groups for the Jiccoda line of machines, let me know and others know by leaving a comment down below. Overall though, I've been very pleased with the price point of this machine and the available accessories. This is the Atomstack A20 Pro featuring a 20-watt laser module. This machine retails for $899 US, with the X30 Pro machine featuring a 33-watt laser module retailing for $1,299. Now, normally I would save this question for the end of the segment on this Atomstack, but I hear so many times, and I've even asked it, there's an A20 Pro, an S20 Pro, and an X20 Pro. What's the difference? Those letters only designate the color of the machine. All of the features and specifications of the machine are the same, minus the color. With that clarification taken care of right away, I'm ready to share more features on this machine. We know that it has a 20-watt laser module. For size comparison, I have the Xtool D1 10-watt laser module, and when we match those up side by side, we'll see just how much larger a 20-watt laser module really is. There's a couple of other really cool features on this machine, and that is, in its $899 stock form, this machine includes a powerful air assist kit. This is the air pump. It's variable speed, it's very quiet. The other pumps that I showed you before, they range in airflow from 20 to 30 liters per minute, while this doubles that at 60 liters per minute, allowing for a powerful jet of air off of the air assist kit nozzle. Moving towards the front of the machine, it does have this detachable display. This will show you a lot of valuable information, and it is touch sensitive. The machine, once you have programs in the included SD chip that plugs right into the top of the module here, you can run this machine separate from a computer, so it can be operated as a standalone machine. It can also be operated via a phone app with the included app software that you can download off of the iTunes store or the Android store. And you know I'm all about the accessories. This has a very nice rotary attachment available with included stilts to stand the machine up high enough so that you can work on projects of just about any size. I also have the smallest honeycomb that Atomstack offers. They do make this version that has a T-track on the top and the bottom for these clamps. And they have another version of this that is much, much larger. And if you're looking to save a little bit of money, there is a version that does not have this clamp system, and it again eases the cost just a little bit. Let's take a closer look at some of the neat features on the machine and the accessories. The frame of the machine is all metal, it's all aluminum. It's made from this very large, robust aluminum extrusion. It has a belt that runs down the middle, going up to the guide wheels that connects to the motor. And again, these plastic guide wheels have form-fitted themselves to the channels on the top and underneath, and operation and movement of the laser module is again silky smooth. The machine does feature homing limit switches. This one is off of the gantry axes here for when the module moves over. And there's also one located underneath here. Again, making for quick, precise homing for great repeatability. Moving on to the front here, again, the machine comes equipped with a panic e-stop button, a power button, a reset button, and here's our power connector, our USB cable, along with that SD card I just mentioned. And this display is really neat. I have ran this machine just off of that display, and it's a really neat, innovative feature. I've also ran the machine running it from the phone app, and it does work, and it does a lot of really neat things. And moving on to the air assist pump, this thing really is a beast. I mean, here's my hand in comparison. It's about 2 to 3 times the size of the air pumps that I've shown you so far, and this really does flow a lot of air without making a whole lot of noise. And all of that air goes up to this nicely machined included air nozzle as a part of the air assist kit. Moving on to the rotary accessory, these rollers are nicely rubber coated, and they're fully adjustable for spacing with these dials that are located on either end of the attachment. Again, we have this auxiliary wheel set, and there are straight lines marked into this base here so that when it's inserted into this rotary attachment, you have a guideline on lining up the wheels so that they are perfectly straight to the rest of the assembly. This thing is really neat, even though I have the smaller size that is available from them. And I didn't think that I'd use this T-track with these hold down bars, but I find that I use it quite a bit. There's probably a little bit of dust on here because I have been using it so much. And again, if I'm doing a project and these bars don't reach that project material, this honeycomb base is magnetic, so I can use those red magnetic strips that you know I love to use so much. Really, for the price, there's so much machine that you get here for your money. If there's one thing I've got to say about this machine, it's that the performance has been flawless on this machine. Everything that I've asked this machine to do, it's done it. I haven't had any machine and computer disconnects. The machine hasn't just stopped running midway through a project. Everything just works the way it should, the way it was advertised to. This is the Ortur Laser Master 3 featuring a 10-watt laser module. This machine retails for $699 US. One of the main features that really leaves me in awe on this machine is the speed. This thing is crazy, crazy fast. This machine will go 20,000 millimeters per minute. When you do the conversion to millimeters per second, that's over 330 millimeters per second. And yes, I have done projects offline where I've ran this machine at its maximum speed, and it's silky smooth, it's quiet, there's no clicking or popping or belts jumping off of pulleys or missing steps or anything bad that would wreck a project. It's truly amazing just how smooth this machine runs. And that is attributed to the main controller board that's located up in the front here. The laser module, this is the 4th generation of the laser spot compression technology, and it's the 2nd generation of combining 2 laser beams into one. That's how they make this a 10-watt laser, and it's virtually how every other manufacturer on the market is getting these higher power laser modules, is they're taking more than one laser source, and with mirrors and lenses, they're combining them. And it's nice to know that Ortur is doing that design work in-house, and they're continually developing it. Now, as a comparison, when I initially opened this machine, I thought that I had a 5-watt module, but I checked it out, I read the side of it, it really is a 10-watt module, because again, I'm going to compare it to this Xtool module, and we'll see that the Ortur laser module is much, much smaller. However, when I took a closer look, looking down the danger end of the laser, I found that a lot of this extra space here is just kind of empty space and not doing a whole lot other than it looks nice, but it's adding a lot of weight. When I take the same look at the Ortur laser module, it doesn't have a lot of that dead space around it. It does have the cooling fan in the front, so it's effectively cooling all the parts that it needs to while keeping the module lightweight and small. And it's that lightweight and small package size that allows the machine to run so quickly and so smoothly. A couple other highlights on this machine is when I did the build video for this machine, is that this machine, the whole framework went together with only 4 bolts, 1 frame bolt in each corner, and the instructions were very, very clear. Continuing on with the highlights, that this machine does include an air assist nozzle. You just have to supply an air line into the top, and of course that air pump source. Ortur does offer their version. I just didn't get that when I got this machine, because as we have been seeing, I've got a number of other air pumps, and I do want to be a responsible studio here, creating content and not have too many duplicate things. Compatible software with this machine includes Laser Durable, Lightburn software, and Laser Explorer by Ortur. Available but not shown with the machine is there is a rotary attachment that you can get for this machine, along with Honeycomb and air assist for the machine. Let's take a closer look at the machine, and I'll show you some more features on it. Around the shop, I kind of nicknamed this the spaceship machine, that it kind of looks like a UFO. It's got all these really cool lines on it. The framework on here, these are very solid rails. There's wheels underneath this protective cover that ride in this track. There's another track underneath, so that keeps a lot of the dust and debris from collecting in these areas just because they're away from the work area. It also has a very nice cable management on it. When we move to the back here, I've got a cable plugged into this port. So what I love about this is the port for rotary attachment. I've left the cable in, and all I need to do to activate that rotary attachment is to flip the switch and then activate the rotary option in my preferred software, which is Lightburn. And that's all I have to do. Everything is easily accessible out in the open. Everything about this machine is so well refined. When I take a look at the laser module and the height adjustment with this thumb screw, and in fact, I'll actually loosen that thumb screw up and try and remove this one-handed as I hold the camera. We'll see that this thumb screw pushes against a piece of sheet metal on the inside, and that means that when we tighten that thumb screw down, we're not marking up or galling this rail like so many of the other machines do. And I move on to the front power button. There's a safety key switch here that if you have somebody that you don't want operating the machine, you can lock the machine in the off position, remove the keys, and now they will not be able to turn this machine and use it until the key is put back in and this is turned to the on position. The Ortur Laser Master 3, from the 7 different safety features that are included on the machine, a couple of them I touched base on with the e-stop button and the lockout switch. This machine is very well refined. It has a lot of convenient features that are very well thought out on here. In fact, the tools for putting the machine together and adjusting it even come in this handy little tool kit. The performance of this machine, the speed that it goes at, the quality of the engraving of this machine, it's one of my favorite machines when I want super high quality engraving and I want to go really, really fast. This is the machine that will do it for me. This is the Sculpfun S30 Pro featuring the 10-watt laser module. This machine is also offered as an S30 with a 5-watt laser module and retails for $399 US. This S30 Pro with the 10-watt laser module retails for $594 US, and there is an S30 Pro Max that features a 20-watt laser module, and that retails for $999 US. The only thing that changes between all those different model numbers is just the size of the laser module. The rest of the features of the machine remain the same. And a couple of those key features include the included air assist kit. It has the lines and the air assist nozzle. And one of the really cool features that I just love about this machine is that the air pump plugs directly into the controller board on the machine. And when you're using Lightburn software, there is always that little switch for the air assist to turn on and off. This controller board is now synced up to that in the software. So now when you toggle the air on and off in Lightburn software, it actually will turn your air assist pump on and off. So all of my engraving layers, I can turn the air off. I don't want the air on. And for all the cut layers where I do want the air on, I can turn that pump on in the Lightburn software, because these motors run really, really quiet. And when I'm in the studio here, I sometimes can't remember or even hear if I have that air pump on or off. You know, I'm all about the accessories, but not shown but available is a rotary attachment for this machine, a honeycomb, and this machine also includes extensions in both the X and the Y direction. Now, if you put the full XY kit on, you will have an engraving area of, let me make sure I get this right, it's 935 millimeters by 905 millimeters. So if we do a little bit of rounding, that will create an engraving area that is 35 inches by about 35 inches. That's huge. That is, I think, one of the largest engraving areas for this type of laser diode machines that's available on the market today. Moving on to talk about software, this machine is compatible with Laser Gerbil and the ever popular Lightburn software. With some of the main features covered on the machine, let's take a closer look at some of the different areas of this machine. Here's a nice close-up of the laser module. It does have this nice fan to keep all the components cool inside. We can see down here through this protective cover is we do have the air nozzle from the air assist kit, and that nozzle is all metal and it contains inside the protective lens and the focusing lens. Moving up from the laser module is this linear rail in the back. This is the only machine that I've shown you today that uses this precision linear rail. This rail rides on this ball bearing track. We call them a car in the industry, a ball bearing car. And this offers a very long lifespan for this type of a setup while remaining very, very precise. Moving on, we see one of the homing switches right here. And here's the other homing switch. And we have our typical USB cable input, the power cable input. Then over here, we have a nice cluster of cables that are very clearly labeled, and it really makes assembling the machine a breeze. And there's one of the cables that goes out to the included air assist pump. Again, that's controlled from within the Lightburn software. This machine is one of the latest machines that I received, so I haven't had a whole lot of runtime on it, but I do know that when I have connected to it and I run a project, whether it's for a video for all of you or doing something for myself offline, this is yet another machine that I connect to it with Lightburn. I do my project, everything just works on it, and it's just a nice machine to use. I'm really happy to see that this high quality rail is being integrated onto it. Again, you get a lot of life out of this, and of all the machines that I have, I'm running them in their standard form. I don't have any extension kits on it, but there are some projects that I have and that some of my clients have that they would like something that's larger than this 450 by 450 work area, and I might buy the full extension kit for this machine and extend that out to 900 plus millimeters in both the X and Y directions, which I don't think it would even fit on this table. I think this table is about 32 inches deep, so I'd need yet an even bigger table to put that machine on. That's how big that extension kit is for this machine. There's one or two things on this machine that I'd maybe keep an eye on. One of them, it is nice that they included this airline that is kind of color coded to the machine here. It matches. It's just that if you twist it a little bit, it cuts the airflow off, so this hose collapses very easily on itself. I'd maybe change this out to, say, something like a silicone hose or something that won't pinch off or kink as easily. The other thing that I saw, and I know it's an add-on from Sculpfun to bring more functionality to the machine, is the homing switches. So I'm glad that I've got a late model that it does include those. However, the placement of these is that they are out in the open, and I could maybe see somebody snagging some clothing or a cable or something off of these and damaging them. These two things between the airline hose and these homing switches being out in the open, maybe there's something that they can do when they get to the next iteration of their machine. But overall, this machine, it functions, it works really well, and I've got no real complaints other than the airline and the homing limit switches. Wow, that is a lot of machines to cover in one video, but I had a lot of fun putting this all together. You know, a lot of these machines have a lot of very similar features, but a lot of the machines have a lot of very special and unique features, whether it's the price point of the machine, the availability of new and cutting-edge technologies, or different features on it that give you better engraving, or an air assist pump that's included or not included, all of that stuff in there. And I hope watching this video will be able to connect you viewers, whether you're a first-time machine owner or you're looking to purchase yet another machine. I hope that this video will help you point you in the correct direction. If you do go on to purchase a machine, I'd love to hear which one you get. Or if you do already have a machine that you saw in this video, I'd love to hear about your experience with that machine in the comments down below. Well, I think I've covered everything that I needed to in this video for today. So until next time, learn, create, and share.